Hi, my name is Evie and I'm a painter. My work deals with architecture and the psychological influence of the built environment on the individual. Today I'm going to make a small-scale mock-up of one of my large-scale drawings. It will involve painting on a canvas board and a few MDF structures that we're going to layer up later as an installation. For this you will need Liquitex Soft Body, Heavy Body and the paint markers, as well as some freestyle brushes and the paddle brush. I'll be using 4 shades, which are titanium white, parchment, raw umber and neutral grey 5. The first step is making a sketch to block out a general composition and gauge an idea of the shapes that I'll be creating in the space or in the canvases later. To transfer the sketch onto the board, I use masking tape to draw the shape out directly. This way I don't have to make the shape in pencil or rub out the lines afterwards. The trick is to apply the tape very well and rub it down with your finger firmly so that it adheres to the surface and no paint seeps underneath it. Once the shape is outlined and drawn in the masking tape, I apply the paint. Soft Body gives me several options. One, to create very matte, flat shapes that almost adhere directly to surfaces. And this is achieved with 2 to 3 coats, creating an even coating of colour. Or using 1 coat and leaving in the brush marks creates for a busier texture and gives an appearance of that shape sitting further up on the surface and lifting off from the matted shape behind. The next stage is creating a geometric pattern, and I make the pattern using a stencil that I've pre-made myself. I pencil round the shape and repeat this a set amount of times over the surface until the full extent of the pattern is created. I then start filling these in. I fill them in using Heavy Body Liquitex because the paint allows me to have greater control to outline the shapes and paint them freehand, and also requires less coats due to the paint's thicker and matter consistency. Here I'm using 2 boards to illustrate how 2-dimensional flat surfaces can create further illusion of 3-dimensionality. The next stage is transferring and continuing part of the drawing from the larger surface onto the smaller surface, creating a replica of what is underneath it once it's stacked on top. When working on the second panel, I use the exact same process as I have before, masking and using the Soft Body Liquitex to make the larger shapes, Heavy Body and outlining a stencil to make the smaller shapes, and the paint marker where necessary to continue the drawing from one surface onto another. For the next stage, I overlay a set of geometric shapes which are outlined in marker. The paint marker allows me to emulate a lot of the fine detailing that you would find in an architectural draft. This level of precision would be near impossible to emulate with a paintbrush because the lines would have to be drafted either side and meticulously filled in with a tiny, tiny brush. The key to the work is the matching of the colours and colour consistency. Using intermixability, I can extend the illusion of drawings and painted shapes flowing from one surface to another.